The last several years have been exceedingly kind to the city of Fax. Ever since the Drow overlords were defeated, and Lunbeams and Tullab rededicated themselves to the town and the wild coast, the entire region has boomed. The streets are clean and well lit at night, and the old way of balancing the books via pillaging has been replaced with a more equitable taxation model. Despite the veneer of calm and beauty beneath the covers, the city's criminal element prospers, and none more than the owners of the King's Coin. The King's Coin is a well-known establishment for adventurers to find odd jobs of dubious legality. Over the past few weeks, several flyers have been distributed looking for adventurers who would be willing to take on an odd job or two for high pay. Wukong, Slerdax, and the paladin Marron have each obtained their own copy of the flyer and arrived independently at the local watering spot. First, Wukong arrives and shows his flyer to Gaxim. Gaxim sends them to the bar, and the bartender sends him to a table in the back of the room. A few minutes later, the paladin arrives and sits with the rogue. Slerdax arrives, and he, too, is pointed to the same table. The gentleman seated at the table, a well-dressed, corpulent man, motions to an empty seat. When Slerdax tries to ask questions, he demands silence and says that the group job can only go to a group of 4. Ramon, a male drow and co-owner with his brother Raymond of the King's Coin, is concerned with the sudden surge of adventure activity in the business. But this mysterious gentleman at the table is disturbed. Raymond tells Slerdax, "This is the 5th group of adventurers that have sat at the table." Raymond asks him to go to the table to make sure that no unreasonable activity is going on. Gaxim is a powerful, dim-witted half-orc. His role at the end of the day is that of bouncer, not of spy. Drog Halftooth, a half-orc, sees Gaxim and tells him, "Sit at the table. I think there is some coin in this job. It involves violence, not brains. It is well suited." Gaxim sits. "Money good." Drug smiles. "I see you have found the flyer. It turns out that the secret society of the knife, the butter, and the brioche is looking for information about some magic user that has gone missing. It's easy money. They are frantic. They are spreading coins to anyone who will pursue any of their harebrained leads. I have a plan to make. The society believes that there are some interplanar wolves that may be responsible for the disappearance of the gnome. Your job is to go there, kill a wolf, and say that you think you saw a portal. The society is so desperate they will give us money for this information." The half-orc looks at the bouncer and says, "This job is even simple enough for you." He then turns to the magic user and says, "Bring me some blood and I will arrange for everything else. I forgot my manners. What's your name?" The magic user stares at the half. "My name is Slerdax, and I am a Ganassi." "I had a friend who is a Ganassi." "The Ganassi don't have friends." Drog is offended. "I said I had a Ganassi friend. It was my friend. I never said I was his friend. Friendship is not a two-way street. I have the half-orc for muscle. Are you interested?" Slerdax nods. "Why aren't you asking about the money? I don't know if I trust someone who is interested in money." Slerdax looks at Gaxim, shrugs. "Honestly, I just want to kill someone." "You sure you are a mage?" asks Drog. The Asmir paladin. "I am not sure I am comfortable with the idea of us lying about our findings." Wukong looks at the paladin and says, "Can you please suck up your paladin integrity so we could make some easy money?" Marrion rubs his chin and says, "It is true that I am short of money. And it is always true that the Knights of the Knife, the Butter, in the Brioche are always looking for new members." Slerdax. "Why are you looking for muscle? Why not just do the deed themselves?" "Because they are desperate to find him as quickly as possible. Seems he has some information that they need, and so they are spending money to chase any lead. And if you bring back a useful lead, they send their top guys. They only have so many top guys." "I want to see the money." Trog shows them the money. 50 gold pieces. "I'll take it." Half-orc, businessman size. "No, Gaxim, you have to kill first." Mage takes advantage of this distraction to try to steal the coin from the table. As 4 very lethal-looking associates of the businessman approach, "These tricks may have worked in school, Mage, but they will not. Put the money back, or we will get it and find another mage." Gaxim walks out of the "Boss, I leave early. Go, kill." The pale white drow looks even paler. "Whatever Mr. Drog wants, Mr. Drog gets." Our heroes leave Fax, a city that has been cleaned up since the days of the previous major. The town has lights on every corner, the roads are swept clean. It appears to be a pristine, clean, modern, and safe city. But the rot of Fax is profound, and always there, and our heroes have found that rot, and are trying to profit. Leaving the city after sunset, our heroes arrive at some woods near Fax. Wukong looks to the left and looks to the right. "All we have to do is kill a wolf and claim there is some kind of interplanar portal. Easiest 50 gold pieces I've ever made." Gaxim, who, although not smart, has cunning wisdom and feels there is something is off, but the others ignore him. The woods, other than the howl of the wolves, are quiet, and the air grows chill. A low mist gathers around the edges, growing closer as the night wears on. By morning, the fog hangs in the air, turning the trees around them into gray ghosts. Gaxim notices the trees are not the same. Trees change! Black pools of water stand like dark mirrors in and around the muddy roadway. Giant trees loom on both sides of the road, their branches clawing at the mist. Go forest, kill a wolf! The rogue stops the orc. Slerdax casts Produce Flames and send it into the mist. The mist absorbs fire and remains unchanged. The mage looks at Gaxim and says, Touch the Gaxim is too cunning to fall for that trick. The mage tries a firebolt again. Again, Slerdax notices how it disappears into the mist. Stay away from the fog. Gaxim nods. The mage is not dumb. The road ahead is the only place with no mist, and so our heroes go forward. The fog spills out of the forest to swallow up the road behind them. Ahead, jutting from the impenetrable woods on both sides of the way, are high stone buttresses, looming gray in the fog. Massive iron gates hang on the stonework. Dew clings with cold tenacity to the rusted bars. 2 headless statues of armed guardians flank the entrance, their heads now lying among the weeds at their feet. They greet the arrivals only with silence. At first, our heroes wonder how to open the doors, but they swing open as they approach, screeching as the hinges move. Slerdax is annoyed, and so he walks up to the mist and puts his hands in. It feels misty. Gaxim tries to use his night vision, but everything is obscured. Seeing that the road ahead is the only road, they go through the gates. As they go forward, they catch the scent of death on the air. The gravel road leads to a village, its tall houses dark as tombstones. Nestled among these solemn dwellings are a handful of closed-up shops. Even the tavern is shut tight. Soft whimpering draws their eyes toward a pair of defenseless children standing in the middle of an otherwise lifeless street. Slerdax asks, What are you doing here? Werewolf! The boy is about to say something. After shushing the boy, the girl turns to Slerdax and says, There's a monster in our house. She then points to a tall brick row house that has seen better days. Its windows are dark. It has a gated portico on the ground floor, and the rusty gate is slightly. The houses on either side are abandoned, their windows and doors boarded up. Go forest, kill wolf, werewolf! Slerdax heaves off Gaxim and asks, Is it a wolf? We don't know what a kind of monster it is. All we have heard is its scary howl, the girl says. Maybe it is a wolf. Oh, maybe you will go into the house and kill the wolf and save our baby brother Walter, who is on the 3rd floor. Oh, house kill wolf, get gold. Our parents keep the monster in the basement. Where are your parents? We don't know. They are called Gustav and Elisabeth. We like to call them Mommy and Daddy. The little boy chirps up. They like us to call them Mr. and Mrs. Durst. Slerdax stares at the children, and he stares at the house. Oh, good God, what has that paladin gotten into me this time? Says someone who is Marron. What have we done? What are we doing here? Go to the house. Money. Drink mead. A wrought iron gate, with hinges on one side and a lock on the other, fills the archway of a stone portico. Gaxim has no patience and attempts to smash the gate and fails. Slerdax walks up the gate and pushes it open. Apparently, it was not locked. The rusty hinges screech. Oil lamps hang from the portico ceilings by change, flanking a set of oak doors that open into a grand foyer. Hanging on the south wall of the foyer is a shield emblazoned with a coat of arms, flanked by framed portraits of stony-faced aristocrats. Mahogany-framed double doors leading from the foyer to the main hall are set with panes of stained glass. Gax takes the shield. Slerdax examines the aristocrats and notices a familiar resemblance to the children. He turns to everyone. Story checks out. Gaxim marches into the hall. A wide hall runs into the width of the house, with a black marble fireplace at one end and a sweeping red marble staircase leading up at the other. Mounted on the wall above the fireplace is a longsword, with a windmill cameo working into the hilt. The wood-paneled walls are ornately sculpted with images of vines, flowers, nymphs, and satyrs. Gaxim Slerdax looks over the wooden panels, admiring the artwork, and notices serpents and skulls inconspicuously woven into the wall designs. He searches for secret doors and finds. Gaxim blindly charges into the dining room. Wukong waits to see if there are any screams. He hears none and then enters. He thinks, Gaxim will die quickly. I should at least leverage his courage to avoid falling into traps. The centerpiece of this wood-paneled dining room is a carved mahogany table surrounded by 8 high-backed chairs with sculpted armrests and cushioned seats. A crystal chandelier hangs above the table, which is covered with resplendent silverware, and crystalware polished to a dazzling mounted above the marble fireplace is a mahogany-framed painting of an alpine vale. The wall paneling is carved with elegant images of deer among the trees. "Treasure," says Gaxim, and takes the silverware and plates. As the bouncer steals the silverware, Slerdax notices twisted faces carved into the tree trunks and wolves lurking among the carved foliage of the paneling. He then examines the drapes. Looking behind them, he notices that the mist has rolled up to the walls of the house. Gaxim leaves the dining hall angrily and heads into the main. Wukong approaches him. "Grax, is it?" "Gaxim." "Ah, yes. Gaxim. I suggest you go there," as he points to the door to the kitchen. The half-orc moves toward the door. Wukong turns to the cleric. "Ah, we have a meat shield." The kitchen is tidy, with dishware, cookware, and utensils placed on shelves. A work table has a cutting board and a rolling pin atop it. A stone dome-shaped oven stands near the east wall, its bent iron stovepipe connecting to a hole in the ceiling. Behind the stove and to the left is a thin door leading to a well-stocked pantry. Gaxim excitedly turns to the pantry. All the food in the pantry appears fresh, but tastes bland. "Maid?" he asks. Disappointed, he says, "Gaxim, go down." Wukong notices a door. He encourages Gaxim to open it and discovers that it is a dumbwaiter. Slerdax casts Find Familiar and summons a spider. Wukong stops Gaxim in time. No, the spider is a little bit off. The glowing eyes, the fangs, and the size are not quite what Slerdax remembers from his days in school. The spider goes into the dumbwaiter. Wukong sends the dumbwaiter up, and the spider exits into the servant's room. An undecorated bedroom contains a pair of beds with straw-stuffed mattresses. At the foot of each bed is an empty footlocker. At this point, Slerdax notices that the rooms on the first and second floor are free of dust and signs of age. The floorboards and walls are well oiled, the drapes and wallpaper haven't faded, and the furniture looks new. Slerdax, as the spider notices a button, Wukong hears a ding in the kitchen. Gaxim looks around. The spider moves into the hallway. Unlit oil lamps are mounted on the walls of this elegant hall. Hanging above the mantelpiece is a wood-framed portrait of the Durst family. What Slerdax surmises must be Gustav and Elizabeth Durst, with their two smiling children, Rose and Thorn. The children here have pink, not gray skin. Cradled in their father's arms is a swaddled baby, which the mother regards with a hint of standing suits of armor flank wooden doors in the east and west walls. Each suit of armor clutches a spear and has a visored helmet, shaped like a wolf's head. The doors are covered with dancing youths. Slerdax looks at the children more carefully and notices that they aren't really dancing, but fighting off swarms of bats. The red marble staircase that has started on the first floor continues its upwards. The spider comes down the stairs and goes on Gaxim's shoulders. Wukong looks at Gaxim and points to the door next to the stairwell across from the kitchen in the main hall and says, "Door." Gaxim smiles. "Kill wolf, drink mead." Wukong hears no screams and follows Gaxim. Slerdax follows to make sure that Gaxim doesn't take more than his share. This oak-paneled room looks like a hunter's den. Mounted above the fireplace is a stag's head, and positioned around the outskirts of the room are 3 stuffed wolves. 2 padded chairs draped in the animal furs face the earth, with an oak table between them supporting a cask of wine, 2 carved wooden goblets, a pipe rack, and a candelabrum. A chandelier hangs above a cloth-covered table surrounded by 4 chairs. 2 cabinets stand against the walls. The east cabinet sports a lock. Wukong picks it and finds a heavy crossbow, a light crossbow, a hand crossbow, and 20 bolts for each weapon. The north cabinet is unlocked and holds a small box containing a deck of playing cards and an assortment of wine glasses. Gaxim leaves frustrated and opens the door to the cloakroom. It has several black cloaks hanging from hooks on the wall. A top hat sits on a high shelf. Wukong enters the closet and takes the black top hat. "Is it magic?" "No, Slerdax, it's pretty. Maybe I'll wear it with his cloak." He puts on the hat and wraps the cloak about him. "What do you think?" "Gaxim, kill wolf, down." "I agree, but there is no way down. Perhaps we should go ask the children outside." The mist has rolled up to the gates, and the road is no longer visible. Gaxim charges into the mist. 5 minutes later, he reappears, walking towards the entrance. "Gaxim, did you turn around?" Wukong asks. Gaxim walks. The mists do not want our heroes to leave. They head upstairs to the servants' quarters. Gaxim opens the door to the closet and finds servants' uniforms. The group heads to the upper hall, and Slerdax decided they are to go north. "Gaxim, that door," Wukong says. Wukong waits to see if there are any screams. Hearing none, he follows Gaxim. Red velvet drapes cover the windows of this room. An exquisite mahogany desk and a matching chair face the entrance and the fireplace, above which hangs a framed picture of a windmill perched atop a rocky crag. Situated in the corners of the room are two overstuffed chairs. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves line the south wall. A rolling wooden ladder allows one to more easily reach the high shelf. Slerdax examines the bookshelves. They hold hundreds of tomes, covering a range of topics including history, warfare, and alchemy. There are also several shelves containing first edition collected works of poetry and fiction of high value. As he tabulates the value of the books, he notices a fake book that opens a secret door. As Gaxim marches into the room, Wukong tells Slerdax, "He can be the bronze. I am the face, and you can be the brains. We could be a gang, and that crazy," pointing to Marrion, "can be left alone." The secret room contains bookshelves packed with tomes describing fiend-summoning rituals and the necromantic rituals of a cult called the Priests of Osiris. After an hour of examination, Slerdax infers that the rituals are bogus. A stout wooden chest with clawed iron feet stands against the south wall, its lid half closed. Sticking out of the chest is a skeleton in leather armor. Wukong approaches the chest. Close inspection reveals that the skeleton belongs to a human who triggered a poisoned dart trap. 3 darts are stuck in the dead adventurer's armor and ribcage. You should have been more careful. The dart-firing mechanism inside the chest no longer functions. In the hands of a dead man is a letter. The letter is sealed with the following crest. It's of an eagle that has its hands spread, with a castle in the background. It is unlike any that he has ever seen. The letter is written in a flowing, "My most pathetic servant, I am not a messiah sent to you by the dark powers of this land. I have not come to lead you on a path to immortality. However many souls you have bled on your hidden altar, however many visitors you have tortured in your dungeon, know that you are not the ones who brought me to this beautiful land. You are but worms arriving in my earth. You say that you are cursed, your fortunes spent. You abandoned love for madness, took solace in the bosom of another woman, and sired stillborns cursed by darkness. Of that I have no doubt. Save you from your wretchedness? I think not. I much prefer you as you are, your dread lord and master, Strahd von." Kong looks in the chest. The chest contains 3 blank books with a black leather covers, 3 spell scrolls, the deed to the house, the deed to a windmill, and a signed will. The will is signed by Gustav and Elizabeth Durst and bequeaths the house, the windmills, and all other family property to Rosavalda and Thornbull Durst in the event of their parents' death. The door closes behind Wukong, who screams for help. Gaxim starts to smash the Slerdax opens it by pulling on the mechanism of the fake book. Wukong walks out. Slerdax points to the door to the south of the hall that leads to the conservatory. Gossamer drapes cover the windows of this elegantly appointed hall, which is a brass-plated chandelier hanging from the ceiling. Upholstered chairs line the walls, and stained glass wall hangings depict beautiful men, women, and children singing and playing instruments. A harpsichord with a bench rests in the northwest corner. Near the fireplace is a large standing harp. Alabaster figurines of well-dressed dancers adorn the mantelpiece. Slerdax notices that several are carvings of well-dressed skeletons. The party, unable to find a way down, goes up and comes to a dusty balcony with a suit of black plate armor standing against one wall, draped in cobwebs. The armor animates, surprising Gaxim, but misses. Gaxim attacks with rage and does 28 points of damage. The animated aura attacks Gaxim, missing both times. Slerdax produces a flame and does 1 point of damage. The barbarian hits. Gaxim kill! The heroes head into the north. The double doors to this room have dusty panes of stained glass set into them. Designs in the glass resemble windmill. The dusty cobweb-filled master bedroom has a burgundy drapes covering the windows. Furnishings include a 4-poster bed with embroidered curtains and a tattered gossamer veils, a matching pair of empty wardrobes, a vanity with a wood-framed mirror and jewelry box, and a padded chair. A rotting tiger skin rug lies on the floor in front of the fireplace, which has a dust-covered portrait of Gustav and Elizabeth Durst hanging above it. A web-filled parlor in the southwest corner contains a table and 2 chairs. Resting on the dusty tablecloth is an empty porcelain bowl and a matched jug. Slerdax prompts Gaxim to open the door. Gaxim is pleased. The door has a full-length mirror mounted on it. The door opens to reveal an empty dust closet. Gaxim then opens the door to the outside balcony. Again, the area around the terrace is the strange mist that goes up into the sky as high as the eye can see.